Have you ever wondered what it feels like when silence in the woods breaks and what emerges is not a deer, but a shadowy, armored brute that can shred crops, injure livestock, and charge with a fury few predators possess? Across the United States, a new dilemma rises from the ground. Wild boar. Their relentless march is transforming farms, forests, and grasslands while leaving billions of dollars in destruction in their wake. Before we reveal the secrets of America's wild boar invasion, subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date on the untold stories of wildlife right outside your door. Wild boars, Sus scroff, were not always a menace in North America. These animals have roots in the dense forests of Europe and Asia, stretching back thousands of years. So how did they arrive in the New World? The story begins centuries ago when European explorers crossed the Atlantic. In their holds were crude pens containing boars, portable, reliable sources of meat that could survive the journey. But in a land unbound by fences and walls, some of these boars escaped. They vanished into the woods, forming small bands. Survival was easy. The land was generous. Over generations, they found each other and bred with local pigs released or abandoned by settlers. The offspring became hybrids, some larger, smarter, and more aggressive than either parent. Today, those hybrid populations have exploded. Experts estimate there are more than 9 million wild boars roaming the U.S., their numbers swelling with each passing year. When you look across the tangled forests and wide-stretching grasslands of America, few creatures embody resilience and cunning quite like the wild boar. Their power doesn't just come from brute strength. It's rooted in adaptability, a quality that has made them one of the most successful and troublesome invaders the country has ever faced. Imagine a frigid morning in Alaska. Icicles hang from frosted branches. The ground crunches beneath your boots, and wildlife is sparse. Yet, beneath a pile of leaves and mud, a wild boar sleeps soundly, cocooned against the pain by its own ingenuity. Months later, as relentless heat scorches the swamps of Florida, you find the same species wallowing in sun-drenched ponds, cooling its thick hide in the mud. No matter where you search, from prairie to thick forest, from farmland to rural scrubland, wild boars have carved out their own domain. Their intelligence reveals itself in small ways, knowing how to burrow just enough to survive a blizzard, seeking shade before the heat can sap their energy, or remembering migration routes that evade pursuit by hunters year after year. It's clear that shelter for wild boars is never static. It's a shifting defense, always evolving as conditions change and threats emerge. But shelter is only a fragment of their survival story. Far more impressive is their mastery of food, their ability to eat anything, anywhere, at any time. While other animals are bound by the seasonal rhythms of nature, wild boars break the cycle. When the land is kind, they will feast on roots, tubers, and berries. Fields of corn and wheat become impromptu banquet halls. Entire crops can vanish overnight beneath a horde of hungry boars. As the year changes and fruits disappear, wild boars seamlessly shift to hunting. Small mammals, lizards, eggs, and birds all become fair game if hunger calls. Even when scarcity bites, they transform into tenacious scavengers, digging through snow, sifting muddy floodplains, or even feasting on carrion. Drought, flood, freeze, famine, there's no challenge they haven't met, and with every brush with hardship, they only grow stronger. Yet if adaptability forms the backbone of the wild boar's success, reproduction is its beating heart. The real secret to their dominance isn't just surviving, it's multiplying rapidly and relentlessly. In the world of wild mammals, most species take time before contributing new generations. But a female wild boar is ready to breed at just 6 months old, outpacing almost all rivals in the animal kingdom. This early fertility means new boar populations don't just appear, they explode. Within the safety of a sounder, the boar's social structure, sows can give birth twice every year, each time to a dozen or more piglets. In regions where food is abundant and winters mild, sometimes the numbers soar even higher. These piglets are raised in relative safety, shielded by the herd, and rarely threatened by natural predators. Here in the U.S., predators that once kept numbers in check are few and far between, making piglet survival rates staggeringly high. It's not unusual for wild boars in American backcountry to double their population after only a few months. Where other species struggle and dwindle, the boar thrives in sprawling family units, adapting not just to challenges but to opportunity, using every advantage to invade new land at a pace that defies belief. The scale of this invasion is almost incomprehensible. 4 decades ago, the wild boar's claim on America was modest. In 1980, only 18 states reported populations. Now, after years of expansion, boars have become a national problem, spreading from coast to coast and pushing into new territory every season. By 2016, they had staked out 35 states, and experts warn that even those figures may underestimate their true reach. Wherever they arrive, the story is one of loss and upheaval. Wild boars inflict staggering damage. Each year, about 2.5 billion is drained from the economy due to destroyed crops, ruined property, and relentless repairs. Farmers find irrigated fields torn to shreds, with pipes ripped out and fences flattened by the boar's muscular bulk and unyielding determination. The best laid plans last barely a season. Sometimes the harvest disappears in a single night, leaving behind a wasteland and broken dreams. Even for seasoned land managers, containment is a constant battle. Every traditional method, barrier, trap, diversion, seems to only teach the boars to be more clever, more audacious. Attempts to control their population lead to ethical debates and new tactics, but with each setback, the wild boar grows even bolder, more entrenched in the American landscape. What gives the wild boar an edge nobody expected? Their arsenal isn't just physical, it's a blend of biology and behavior few species possess. Many hunters will tell you the legend of a bullet-resistant boar, and there's truth behind the tale. Wild boars wear a coat of thick, gristly skin, almost a natural body armor. Lesser predators shy away, and even well-aimed shots can do little more than graze the surface, forcing hunters to develop new skills and more potent weapons. The male's arsenal is even more dramatic. Tusks, wickedly sharp and curved, make the boar both a formidable fighter and a threat to hunters and other animals. These tusks aren't just tools for digging. In close combat, they inflict serious wounds on all challengers. Yet wild boars rarely fight alone. Their social structure revolves around the sounder, family groups that operate using collective intelligence. Each member scouts the land, watches for threats, and raises the alarm instantly if danger comes too close. An entire group can vanish into the brush in seconds, the alarm call rippling through the herd much faster than any solitary animal might react. And if escape isn't possible, then unpredictability reigns. Cornered and threatened, wild boars abandon caution for aggression, charging with a violent fury that has made even the most experienced hunters hesitate. Injured or afraid, their fight becomes frantic and erratic, sometimes resulting in injury for anyone or anything standing in their way. Brute force alone isn't enough to defeat them. It's their cunning, collective defense, and sheer willpower that makes wild boars America's most dangerous wild nuisance. America's response to the wild boar invasion has become an evolving war of tactics and strategy, with hunters and land managers adjusting their approach season by season as the boar adapts in kind. The weapon of choice for many is the scoped rifle, favored for its reach, power, and accuracy. But preparation for these hunts is intense. Rifles must be cleaned and sighted, gear assembled for long, arduous hours in the field. Hunters study tracks and subtle signs, disturbed earth, broken foliage, muddy prints marking beds, or feeding grounds. Patience is essential. Boars hear and smell far better than humans, and any lapse in silence or scent discipline can mean failure. The moment of truth is tense. When a boar finally enters a hunter's sights, composure and precision must outweigh adrenaline. Even after a successful shot, the real work begins, tracking the wounded animal, navigating rough terrain, and ensuring a quick, humane end. Hunters working in groups rely heavily on radio communication, coordinating positions to prevent mishaps and maximize effectiveness. Drones sometimes join the hunt, their sensors piercing otherwise inaccessible cover to locate elusive sounders before they slip away undetected. But not all hunts are about rifles. Many believe the backbone of boar control is the dog, the hunter's loyal companion. Scent hounds and catch dogs are trained to locate boars, drive them into open ground, and hold them with fearsome tenacity until help arrives. This bond is built on trust. But every hunt can be hazardous, demanding constant vigilance from handlers to protect both their dogs and themselves. Night brings new challenges and innovations. With boars increasingly foraging after dark, nighttime hunts use shotguns and thermal imaging scopes, technology that enables hunters and farmers to detect movement in the blackness. Close-range defense is critical. A shotgun spread at 164 feet is deadly and precise. Thermal signatures reveal what the naked eye cannot, allowing crop protection teams to ambush pigs before they can disappear into the gloom. Even then, stealth remains essential. Boars have poor vision, but their noses and ears compensate, making every step under cover of darkness a delicate dance. Bow hunting, meanwhile, calls to those seeking a deeper challenge, a test of patience, skill, and nerves. Hunters use baits to lure boars, then settle in tree stands high above the ground, waiting in silence for the perfect moment. Every twitch of muscle, every rustle of wind is magnified. Arrows must hit vital organs for a clean finish, or the wounded animal can escape, leading the hunter on a long, gritty track through unforgiving terrain. Bow hunting is, in many ways, the purest contest between human and beast, with success hinging not just on strength, but on understanding wild boar behavior in anticipation. As populations skyrocket, farmers and land managers have turned to even more drastic measures: helicopter hunts, mass trapping, and experimental new technologies. Helicopter missions, though costly, sometimes running thousands of dollars per flight, allow hunters to cover vast tracts of land, targeting herds that would otherwise remain untouchable. But these aerial hunts raise ethical concerns, with wounded animals sometimes escaping and safety risks rising near population centers. Mass trapping, enabled by modern surveillance tools, allows entire sounders to be captured overnight. Cameras monitor traps, sending alerts and activation signals via smartphone for remote deployment. While efficient at scale, the aftermath brings difficult choices. The quick dispatch of trapped animals is effective but fraught with stress for both humans and boars. New frontiers in control, such as poisons designed for wild boar, have come with new dangers. Unintended casualties among livestock, pets, and protected wildlife make widespread use deeply controversial. Each new solution launches heated debate over responsibility, conservation, and the place of wild boar in the American landscape. Yet, through all the struggle, a provocative question persists. Could these invaders be transformed from threat to resource? In Asia, wild boar farming is a respected tradition. Meat from these animals celebrated in festivals and fine dining. With the right management, strict breeding, containment, and health oversight, what started as an ecological crisis could become an economic opportunity, a new chapter in American agriculture. Some pioneers are experimenting with captive breeding, controlled facilities where boar meat, hides, bones, and even value-added products could find new markets. Success would mean a paradigm shift, altering public perception and economic incentives, from pest to commodity. But the journey is long, requiring innovation, patience, and a careful eye on both ethics and ecosystem health. A wild boar's journey doesn't end at the moment of capture. From hunt to table, the process is labor-intensive and demands expertise. The first step, skinning, is dirty work, with layers of mud and bacteria hiding beneath the thick hide. Careful evisceration follows, with organs and the head removed efficiently to minimize contamination. Expert butchers then divide the carcass into primal cuts: shoulder, loin, leg, each destined for a unique culinary tradition. The real artistry comes in preparation. Ground meat is transformed into spicy sausages, fresh cuts are vacuum sealed for long-term storage, and cooks in kitchens across America experiment with roasting, stewing, grilling, and more. Those who've tasted wild boar say it's nothing like ordinary pork. Each bite is wild, robust, and memorable, a true testament to the challenge and reward of the hunt. From food to farming, from battle to business, the wild boar story in America is still being written. As these animals continue to adapt, reproduce, and spread, only time will reveal whether new solutions can contain their restless advance, or whether Americans will find value where they once found only trouble. In every field, in every forest, the challenge endures, and the wild boar remains a symbol of both nature's resilience and humanity's ingenuity. Wild boar are relentless, species that can adapt, multiply, and endure in almost any landscape. They challenge farmers, frustrate hunters, and puzzle scientists, with every solution spawning new problems. But the story isn't finished. Perhaps turning the tide means changing our approach entirely. With new thinking, technology, and determination, America could transform this threat into an economic and ecological opportunity, balancing control, conservation, and commerce. Until then, the battle continues, and the wild boar remains an unmistakable symbol of nature's power and unpredictability. If you believe in the power of curiosity and conservation, subscribe and join our journey uncovering the secret life of America's wildlife.